In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the perfect level 80 War Within speed set so your character can be as quick as possible. I will go over all the different pieces of gear, all the gems, all the enchants, the talents, and all the different tips and tricks to make you move as quick as possible on your level 80 speed set Druid. So let's get right into this video and I hope you enjoy. The one thing I ask is that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and also thumbs up this video so more people will be able to see this in-depth guide. Let's go over all of the gear that you're going to want for the level 80 War Within speed set. So first of all, once again, we're going to be using the long strider pieces. So there is 3 different ones. You have the headpiece, the shoulders, and also the chest. And now if you didn't know what these are, basically they're an item from BFA and you can get this ability onto them, which is the long strider, and it says increases your movement speed by 28% of your highest secondary stat up to 8%. So we have this on all 3 of these different pieces, as you can see right here. So this is going to increase your movement speed and also based off your critical strike, which is your secondary stat. For the effect to work, you are going to also need the Heart of Azeroth. This is an item from BFA that you get from doing the quest. At the end of this video, I will show you a guide on how to actually get all 4 of these items for Alliance and for Horde, because it's a little bit different on both sides because they have different quest takers and different locations to enter the dungeons to farm the pieces. But I'll just give you a quick rundown. If you already have your Heart of Azeroth, basically all you need to do is run some of the dungeons and they have a chance at dropping these items. You will get the helmet from the last boss in Untitled Chapter. You will get the shoulders from the last boss in Freehold. And finally, you'll get the chest piece from Motherlode from the last boss. Now moving on to the other pieces. They're actually very easy to get these other pieces. They're all brought from the auction house, except your trinkets. So if we go ahead and have a look at some of these pieces, we can see that this is for Season 2 for the War Within, and it has plus speed on it and also crit. This is what you want for your plus speed set, because obviously plus speed is going to increase your speed, and then also having more crit will also increase your speed because of the benefit that we get from the long strider effect on the Azeroth pieces. So you want to make sure that it's got crit on it and also plus speed. Now the ideal piece of gear would be one that has plus speed, plus crit, and also a socket on them. But they're very, very rare to come across. I have one from the past season. So this is from season 1. Which one was it? So this piece right here, as you can see, it's got crit, speed, and it also had a socket that I could use on it and put crit in it. But this is from season 1, so it is better off to have the current season. So for an example, we're in season 2 at the moment, so you want to have all of this season 2 pieces for your BOEs. If we're in season 3, there'll be new ones. In season 4, there'll also be new ones. And now the main reason we want to have the current season is because it's going to have a higher item level and it's also going to have more stats on it, so you go a little bit quicker. For an example, if we have a look at my speed right here, we're going to see this is with the season 2 set. If we go ahead and have a look at the difference when I equipped my season 1 set, it's going to have a big difference. That is why I highly recommend having the latest season of BOEs. Alright, let's keep going through the items. So we have another item that is plus speed, War Within BOEs. So it's pretty much all of the other items except the boots. The boots, there are a few options that I'm going to be showing you. So the very best option that you can go with is the Sentinel's Eternal Refuge, which are these boots right here. These are legendary boots from a past expansion. And now the reason why these are so good is because they can obviously have 3 different sockets on them. That's how they come, with 3 socket slots, which is actually very important, and I'll cover why a bit later on in the video. On top of that, You also can use minus speed enchant on these boots because the item level is below 350. So it's very important with the boots that they're below item level 350 because you want to have minus speed enchant on them, and the only way to use this enchant is if the item has below 350 item level. And these are by far the best option. Now the second best option that is a bit cheaper is going to be the crafted boots from Shadowlands. These, once again, they're under item level 350, so you can use minus speed enchant on them, and they also have plus speed on them themselves. And they're a lot cheaper than these boots. I picked up these boots for 98,000 gold, and you can pick them up from the auction house. Now, moving on to the trinkets. The best trinkets that you can get and the easiest trinkets to actually get your hands on are going to be the Dark Moon decks. So this Dark Moon deck actually has a chance to increase secondary stat by 2.2 thousand, which is going to be your crit, which also increases your speed. And then on top of that, it also will increase your speed or avoidance by 470. So this is a great trinket to have. Now, another option that is going to be even better, but this is a lot harder to get, this is going to be the trinkets that have plus speed on them. Now, there are currently no BOE trinkets that will have plus speed on them that are worth using. The ones that you are going to need are actually BOP, so you have to go ahead and farm them. So I got lucky and I got one in Season 1 that has plus 459 speed. Now, if I wasn't lucky enough to get this, what I would go for the next option would be to have the double Dark Moon decks for the trinkets, because as you can see, this is going to give you 146 of random secondary stat for 15 seconds, so that's just a bit extra crit, which will also increase your speed. Now, another option that you could go with the trinkets is going to be just a trinket that has crit on it, because the more crit that you have, the more it's going to increase your movement speed because of the long strider effect. So if you can just find a trinket which has a high item level and also has high crit on it, this definitely can be worth using and is probably better than using the second Dark Moon deck trinket, because this one doesn't increase stuff too much. So if you, say for an example, if you're doing M+ or you're raiding and you get a trinket that has high crit on it, that's definitely better than the second Dark Moon deck. But I still would recommend using the first Dark Moon deck because you can just buy it off the auction house for a couple hundred gold, and this is a great option right here. With all of your War Within BOE pieces that have plus speed on them, they all can be upgraded. Now, to upgrade them, you are going to need Valor Stones, which can be achieved by doing all different events in the game like questing, PvE and PvP. You want to come to this vendor right here, and you want to go ahead and drag in the pieces of gear, and you can go ahead and upgrade them. By upgrading them, it's going to give them extra stats and more item level. With the extra stats, you'll get more speed, and you'll also get more crit if the piece has crit on it. And this is very important to mid-max your speed set, because it's going to give you a little bit extra plus speed and also plus crit. And also the item level is higher, so you do a little bit more damage if you're doing current content farming. So I'd highly recommend farming out some Valor Stones and leveling all of them up to their max item level. Next up, we're going to talk about the gems that you're going to put on your pieces of gear. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to get the Magnificent Jeweler's setting. And by using this on your rings, you're going to add sockets. It can be used twice on each ring, giving you 2 socket spots on each ring, for a total of 4 sockets that you can put on your rings. And this is going to be very, very important, because we're actually going to be using a gem which, for every different unique color gem piece that we put into our gear, it's going to give us plus 2% speed. As you can see right here, this is a must-have for your speed set. So you want to make sure with all of these pieces that are on your rings or the sockets that you're using different colored gems. Now, the best way to do this, instead of just having the normal gem, you want to go where it's the same color. So this is emerald, but this has haste and crit. This is onyx, but it has mastery and crit. This is amber, but it has stem and crit. As you can see, they have a mixture, and they also have a little bit of extra crit, which is going to increase your movement speed because of the long strider effect. So this is the best possible gems to have when you're gemming out your character. Now, once you've used them 4 different ones, whatever pieces that you have left over with sockets, you can simply put in crit. So these pieces right here, which give 176 crit, because it's obviously important to have as much crit as possible, because this is our secondary stat, and with the long strider effect, it scales off how much crit you actually have. So this is how I recommend gemming out your character. Let's move on to enchant. For braces, you want to go chant armored speed. This will give you plus 1000 speed. For your weapon, you want to go council's guile, and this will on proc give you 3910 crit. And then for your cloak, you want to go chant of the burrowing rapidity. This will give you plus 250 speed. And then for your chest, you want to go with accelerated agility. This will give you plus 200 speed also, and a little bit of agility. Then for your rings, you want to go with radiant critical strike, which will give you 315 critical strike on both of your rings. And obviously crit is going to increase your speed with the long strider effect. Then finally, for boots, you want to have minor speed, which will give you flat 10%. Now for consumables, there's a few different options. The cheapest one and the most common one that people use is the charged file of alacrity. This will give you 744 speed. However, there is one that is a little bit better than this, but it does cost a lot more. So if you look with the alacrity file, it's going to give me 233%. But with the flask of tempered aggression, it's going to give me 234%. This gives you 2825 critical strike. The next item is going to be the fried bonefish, and this can stack with the 2 files, with the 2 flasks. And basically what the fried bonefish does is it will give you a buff, and whenever you kill a mob, it will give you a little plus speed increase for a short period of time. As you can see, this lasts for around 6 seconds. And you're going to be constantly killing mobs, so you can constantly keep this buff running all the time. Next up, we're going to cover the talents that you want to go when you're farming to maximize your speed. Now, I could just give you an import for the best talents and the best build. However, the talents are always changing. As soon as Blizzard makes a tiny change to any of the talent trees, the import will no longer work. So I'm just going to show you the main talents that you want to go with to actually get the most amount of speed as possible. So first of all, you want to go with Tiger Dash, and this has a 45-second cooldown, and this will increase your movement speed by 200%. You also want to go with Feline Swiftness, and this will increase your movement speed by 15%. You also want to make sure that you have Stampeding Roar. This will basically increase your movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds. However, what you also want to do is you want to get improved Stampeding Roar, and this will reduce the cooldown by 60 seconds. So they're the main talents that you want to go with. I also recommend going with Nature's Vigil, because this can be very important when it comes to actually farming, especially in a group with current content. Another thing that I'd recommend taking is Law of the Grove. Now this won't increase your movement speed, but you're going to be pretty much spamming Moonfire all the time, so the increase to your Moonfire is definitely a big bonus. Now moving on to the actual feral tree, and obviously you do want to be doing your farming in feral because it's just a lot quicker and a lot better. But I'm going to show you the talents that you want to make sure you pick up in the feral tree. So first of all, you're already going to start off with Tiger's Fury, and this is important, and I'll show you why after in a second. But obviously this is very important. But the main thing that you want to make sure that you're getting in this tree is going to be Lunar Inspiration. This will allow you to use Moonfire in cat form, which is very, very important. So this way we can just go ahead and we can actually spam Moonfire, which is a ranged ability, and it won't take us out of cat form. Another talent that I recommend taking is Incarnation, and also this talent right here. And now what this will do is whenever you pop Incarnation, it's going to rejuvenate your energy a lot quicker. This way, say for example, you're spamming Moonfire and you run out of energy. By popping Incarnation, it's going to make your energy restore a lot quicker, allowing you to do a lot more Moonfires in that period of time without running out of energy. The next thing that I highly recommend taking is going to be in the hero talents, and it's going to be under the Wild Stalker tree, and it's going to be this ability right here, which is called Flower Walk. During Barkskin, your movement speed is increased by 10%. So every single time that you pop Barkskin, it's going to increase your movement speed by 10%. And after this, I'll show you a macro where you can incorporate all of these different abilities all in one macro when you're farming, so you don't have to think about popping things like Barkskin and also Tiger Fury, but I'll explain how Tiger Fury would even increase your movement speed in just a bit. The next thing that is very important that I never hear anyone talk about, this is going to be going in war mode and having PvP talents. With your PvP talents, there's actually a few talents right here that really increase your movement speed. So for an example, you have Leader of the Pack, and this is going to increase your movement speed by 10%, a flat 10% all the time, which is huge. You also want to go with Freedom of the Herd. This will allow you to get out of roots. Say for example, you're running a dungeon and you're farming transmogs and you get rooted by something. You'll be able to pop your Stampeding Roar and you'll be able to get out of them roots very easily. Another thing that you want to take is Tireless Pursuit. Whenever you go in and out of cat form, it's going to increase your movement speed by 25%. Alright, so let me explain how Tiger's Fury can actually increase your movement speed. So first of all, with your long strider pieces, on one of them, which is going to be the shoulders, if we go ahead and open this, there is actually ability that you can put into here, which is called Jungle Fury. Tiger's Fury increases your critical strike by 875 and lasts 16 seconds. And obviously, because we have the long strider, the more crit that we have, the quicker we go. So by simply popping our Tiger's Fury, you're going to see that we're going to get a buff right here for even more critical strike, which is going to increase our movement speed. So at the moment, we have 235.9%. Let's go ahead and take away that buff. And as you can see, now we're down to 234.8%. So that is how Tiger's Fury can actually increase your movement speed. Obviously, another thing that not many people think about is going to be this ability right here. Whenever we pop Barkskin, it's going to increase our movement speed by 10%. So we want to make sure that we're going ahead and using Barkskin on cooldown, because this is increasing our movement speed, which is absolutely huge. Next up, I'm going to show you a macro, which will basically use all of these abilities for you, including your sprint, your dash, and all the different things to increase your movement speed. And on top of that, it will also use your Moonfire. So this is the macro that I personally have been using, and I've been working very hard to make it as good as possible. I haven't seen anyone ever talk about a macro like this that does all of the work for you when you're farming. So let's go ahead and have a look at this macro, and I'll explain what it does. So first of all, we have /cleartarget. So this will basically clear your target. And then the next thing will be /targetenemy, which is going to target your closest enemy near you. And then the next line is going to be /cast nomod Moonfire. So that means if we're not clicking any modifiers, it's going to Moonfire the mobs. If we're clicking the mod alt, so the alt on our keyboard, it's going to use Stampeding Roar. And then if we're using the mod shift, so if we have our, if we're pressing shift when we click this macro, it's going to swipe. On top of all of that, it's also going to use Tiger's Dash, which will increase your movement speed by another 200%. It's going to use your Tiger's Fury, which is going to give you that extra crit for even more movement speed. It's also going to use your Incarnation, so you can have more energy, so you can spam more Moonfires. It will also use your Barkskin for an extra 10% movement speed. And it will also use Nature's Vigil, which is going to heal your party members based off your damage that you do to mobs. It's going to heal the people in your group, just so everyone stays alive when farming. Let me go ahead and show you how crazy this macro is. And take in consideration, all you have to do is just keep pressing this one macro. And like I'll show you right here, it's going to use all of those abilities for you. And now if I just keep spamming this, it's going to use all them cooldowns as soon as they come off cooldown. So for example, we have Tiger's Fury coming off cooldown in 15 seconds. It's going to go ahead and use the Tiger's Fury as soon as it comes off cooldown. So let's go ahead and I'll show you right here. I'm still just spamming the same macro. If we want to do shift and click the macro, it will use our Stampeding Roar. But as you can see, it just used Tiger's Fury on cooldown. We have 10 seconds right now on Tiger's Dash, which is the thing that will increase our movement speed by 200%. So if we just keep spamming this macro, and as you can see, as soon as it actually damages a mob like that, we use our Tiger's our Tiger's Dash. So this macro is an absolute game changer, and I will put the macro down below in the description box of this video for all of you to use. And also, if you hold down shift, it's going to use swipe, and obviously the abilities also. Now I'm going to show you how to get your Azerite neck and also the other pieces for the Long Strider. First of all, you want to head over to Boralus and pick up that quest. This quest will lead you over to Silithus, so you want to just make your way over to Silithus. Now this whole ordeal should only take you around 30 minutes to 1 hour, depending on how efficient you are at doing this. And this is the full guide for people that don't already have the Heart of Azeroth unlocked. If you already have it unlocked, you can go straight to actually farming the dungeons. So what you want to do is you want to come here and talk to Magni, and you'll go inside this portal right here. Now this is basically the location where you're going to end up getting your Heart of Azeroth neck. Now this neck piece is very important because this will allow the effects of the Long Strider pieces to actually work. Now our goal with this neck is to get it to item level 50 and basically max level it out. But this is actually super simple. Once you have picked up the starter quest from Magni, and by the way, this is the version on how to do it on Alliance, which you'll find in Boralus, all you need to do is pretty much follow the quest chain, and it's extremely simple. So just like that, we've unlocked the Heart of Azeroth. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep questing following this exact same quest line, and this will allow us to level it up to item level 50. And this is important because we can max out the stats on it, and having it leveled up all the way is just better. So once you finish doing these quests, it's going to send you back to Boralus. You want to make sure you pick up the quest and just stay to the campaign. This will take you to Nazjatar, and you just want to keep on following all of the different quests inside of here. There's only about 6 quests you actually need to do in Nazjatar, and it's just the campaign quest. So just keep on following the campaign, completing these quests that you can see that I'm getting right now. This should only take you about 10 to 15 minutes to do the quest right here. There's only, like I said, around 6 quests, and they're super simple to do. So you just want to keep on following along and do exactly what I'm doing right now, and just doing the campaign quest that it will automatically give you. Now, we only have a few more quests actually until we're at the end of this quest line for Nazjatar. You want to make sure that you finish off all these quests, and this will take you back to another city. You want to do a few cutscenes, and you'll be at this location right here. Hand in the quest, and then go ahead and fly over to the next city. Now once we're at this city, there's pretty much 2 more quests we need to do. It's super simple. It's pretty much talking to people. Now when it asks you what items to select, it doesn't matter what item. Now Magni will spawn with the last quest. You want to take this quest, and there'll be a portal outside. You want to go ahead and take this portal. Now what you want to do from here is you want to head over to Silithus, to that same location right here inside the portal, and this is where you'll hand in the quest. You want to talk to this person right here, which is called Mother. You want to do the quest line here, and basically this will teleport you over to this location. You want to keep on going through the quest. There's going to be a few quests where you need to kill some mobs. So just go ahead and do that. You need to pick up a few things with your Heart of Azeroth. And by the end of these quests, what's going to happen is the item level, well, the power level of your Heart of Azeroth is going to go from 1, and we're going to level it all the way up to level 50. And that is the max power level that you can have on your Heart of Azeroth neck piece. So there's a little boss here. You just want to finish clearing this boss. Then there's a couple more quests, and it's going to send you back to Silithus, where you can go ahead and actually level up your neck piece to power level 50. You want to make sure that you talk to this guy outside here. And now you want to make your way back to Silithus. So the quickest way, if you're a druid, is just teleport back to the main hub, and you want to fly over to Silithus from the Borealis Silithus teleport. So once you're here, go inside the portal. Make sure that you speak to this guy right here, hand in the quest, and there's a few little quests that you need to do inside of here, and this will basically level up your power level on your Heart of Azeroth from 5, which we got from doing the quest so far. So it would go from 5 all the way up to 50, and that is completely done. Now there is a bit of dialogue that you have to go through, a little bit of RP that you do need to wait for right here. And then you want to go ahead and you want to take the quest from Mother. And then you want to start the sequence. And basically Mother will do this RP. And then by the end of it, you will be able to get level 50 power on your Heart of Azeroth. So all of this should have only taken you around like 15 to 20 minutes. Depending on how efficient you were at actually doing it. So it is very easy and quick to unlock your Heart of Azeroth. Just like that, we've got it all the way up to power level 50. So right now, the Heart of Azeroth is complete. Now the next step is actually going to be getting our headpiece, our shoulders, and our chest that we can put the Long Strider effect on. Now I'll go ahead and I'll show you exactly how to do those. It is very simple. You only need to run 3 different dungeons, and the pieces will have a chance of dropping from the last boss. Now it's very important that you run the dungeons on normal. Now you may be thinking, well, wouldn't Mythic be better? However, it's not. The scaling is all messed up, and if you actually run it on normal, you're going to get a higher item level and more stats on your pieces of gear. We're going to start off with Freehold. And from Freehold, you'll be able to get your shoulder pieces from the last boss. So what you want to do is you basically just want to go in stealth, and you want to run your way all the way to the last boss and skip absolutely everything else. Because the only mob that is important to us is the very last boss. So just go in stealth, get there as quick as possible, and go ahead and kill the last boss, and you will have a chance at getting the leather shoulder pieces that you need for your Long Strider effect. I'll actually go ahead and show you how many kills it took me to get my shoulders on each of these dungeons. So right here, what you want to do if you're a druid is you want to kill the last boss, make sure you loot it up. If you don't get the piece, you just want to dreamwalk. Once you go back to dreamwalk, you can dreamwalk again, and it will send you to the very start of the dungeon, and you want to reset the dungeon and rinse and repeat that process where you just run to the last boss, kill the last boss, loot him up, and then rinse and repeat that. This is the quickest way to go ahead and get your shoulders that you'll be able to put the Long Strider effect on. So I think it took me around like 5 or 6 runs to actually go ahead and get my shoulders from Freehold. It is completely RNG though. Some people come in and they get it their very first run. Some people come in and it takes them 10 runs. So it is just completely RNG. But as you can see, we got the shoulders right there. So let's go ahead and equip those. And we'll go ahead and I'll show you which powers to actually go ahead and put on it. So you want to right click on it. Now for the first one, it's actually pretty important that you go ahead and go with the Tiger's Fury one. So it's called Jungle Fury, because this will give you extra crit whenever you use Tiger's Fury. Now obviously the main one and the most important one for this is the second one, which is going to be the Long Strider effect. This is the effect that is going to increase our movement speed based off our secondary rating. And on all three pieces, we're going to go with the long strider effect. Next up, we're going to do Motherload. So once again, you just want to stealth and you want to run your way all the way to the very last boss and only kill the last boss. So you can do this as quick as possible. Now Motherload is a little bit longer and it does take a little bit more time to get to the last boss. But once you get to the last boss, it's the same thing. Just kill the boss. If you don't get the piece, you want to go ahead and you want to dream walk out and go in and out. We actually got the piece that we want, our very first kill. So from Motherload, it is the chest piece that you're after. So let's go ahead and equip that. And let's go ahead and select the powers that we're going to put onto this. Now the first power isn't too important for the chest piece. There's no like bonus that can give us more crit or anything like that. So you can just pick whatever you want for the very first socket of the powers. You can go with this one or the other one. I think I ended up just going with this one. This gives some primary stat, which isn't really too important for us for our speed increasing stuff. So just go ahead, select any of those. But then for the second power, you obviously want to make sure that you select the long strider effect. So this now is all set up and ready to go. The final piece that we're after is going to be the headpiece. So you want to head over to Untitled Chapter and you want to go ahead and run this dungeon. Now if you haven't run this before, it is kind of a complicated dungeon to get to the end if you don't know your way around. So first of all, you do need to kill this very first boss. So once you kill this boss, you'll unlock these sewer gates and you can go ahead and make your way to the very last boss. If you haven't run this before, just follow exactly where I go and I'll lead you to the last boss. Now there is another boss right here, like the second boss, that I personally do kill when I'm running this because I think it unlocks the gates. I'm not 100% sure, but it's quick and easy to kill. So once you kill this guy, you want to head upstairs and you want to make your way around the upstairs because the boss is at the very tip top of this building. So you just want to keep on going and there'll be another boss in here that we do need to kill to unlock the gates. So unlike the other ones, you can't really skip the bosses here because they actually lock the gates in front of them. So this is the boss right here that you need to kill. And as you can see, it took us 2 runs to get the headpiece, which is the leather headpiece, this one right here, the flashpowder hood, powered hood. So go ahead and use that. And then once again, put your powers on it. The first power isn't too important whatsoever. You can go with whatever you want. But obviously, that second power, it needs to be the long strider effect. So you go with any of these for the very first power. I'll just go ahead and select trade wins. It doesn't matter at all. And then you want to go ahead on the second one and you want to make sure that you pick the long strider effect. So that is how you get them on Alliance. Now I'm going to show you how to get your Heart of Azeroth and also your Azerite pieces. So your helmet, your shoulders and your chest that you can put your long strider effect on. So first of all, you want to head over to Zendlaria. And you want to go ahead and pick up the beginner quest. And basically with this quest line, you just want to keep on doing it and it will end up giving you your Heart of Azeroth and it will also get the power level from 1 all the way up to 50 on your Heart of Azeroth neck piece. So first of all, you want to head over to this location. You want to go ahead and we're going to pick up the quest from the quest giver, which is going to be up on the very top part. So you just want to go up onto the top level and right next to the door, you're going to find this NPC and this is where you'll pick up the quest and this is the quest chain that you're going to follow. On the bottom corner of the screen right now, there is a map of exactly where this guy is. Once you speak to this guy, which is Magni, he's going to send you to Silithus. So use the portal in the portal room and go straight to Silithus. Talk to him once again, go inside this portal. Once you speak to him again, you will get your Heart of Azeroth. However, it's only power level 1. So what we're going to do, now it only takes another like 10-15 minutes. We're going to get it from power level 1 all the way up to power level 50. So just follow along and all you need to do is follow this quest line that you have been given. Now there's going to be around 10 quests that you need to complete, maybe a couple more. And by the time you get to the end of it, you will be able to have your neck piece at power level 50. So you're going to get sent over to Zendlaria, and what you want to do here is you just want to keep on doing the quest, just as I'm doing right here. There's about like 8 quests that you need to do at this location. So you just want to go through, make sure you're doing all of the campaign quests that you automatically get given. Don't pick up any random ones, just stay on the campaign. And now we're nearly about halfway through this zone right here. The quests are very, very easy, especially if you're level 80. You can pretty much just one-shot all of the mobs. Now once you get to this location right here, this campfire, you're very close to the end of doing the quest in this zone. You got to get the teleportal working once again, use your Heart of Azeroth power on it. Then what you want to do is you want to hand in this quest, doesn't matter what items you pick up. And then Magni is going to spawn. You want to take the quest from Magni, and he's going to tell you to go back to Silithus. So there'll be a little bit of RP. You want to go ahead, take the portal, and then from here you want to go ahead into the portal room, and you want to take the portal back to Silithus. So the portal should just be behind you right here. Take the portal, and you want to go back inside the chamber. And this is where we're going to level up our Heart of Azeroth from item or power level 1 all the way up to 50. There's a few more quests we need to do. We'll get sent to like this other zone after we pick up this quest. And then you want to talk to this guy. And basically you just need to finish a few quests in here. You will get your Heart of Azeroth neck piece to power level 5 in here. But then once we're finished up doing the quest, we need to kill this big boss. It will send us back to Silithus, and this is where we go from power level 5 all the way to 50 in one quest. Alright, so we just got power level 5. Now you want to go find your way back to Silithus however you can. You can just halfstone, go to org, teleport, and then go back in the teleport room straight to Silithus. That's probably the quickest way. And now once you're back here, go inside the chamber. When you go inside, make sure you talk to this guy on your right here. And you just want to go through a couple quests. And basically what will happen is you'll automatically go from power level 5 on your Heart of Azeroth all the way up to power level 50, which is the max level that you can have it. So there'll be a bit of RP here when you're doing this. Just you want to keep on doing the quests. Now once you finish this quest right here, after the RP, you'll go ahead and you'll have power level 50 on your Heart of Azeroth neck piece. So it'll be fully maxed out, and then you'll be good to work on the headpiece, the shoulders, and the chest. And don't worry, I will show you how to actually get those, but they're basically just from farming 3 different dungeons, and you have a chance to get them from the last boss when you finish the dungeon. So just like that, we want to go ahead and we've got our level 50 Heart of Azeroth. So this is complete. This is ready to go. Now let's go ahead and start farming the dungeons for the other pieces. So we have the Motherlode. Now this is located here for the Horde, and you want to be running this on normal. Now you may think, well, shouldn't I be running this on mythic? However, the scaling is all messed up, and you actually get a higher item level piece by running it on normal instead of running it on mythic. So I highly recommend, well, I just recommend you need to run it on normal for the best possible piece. You want to go ahead and kill this boss. Now from Motherlode, from the last boss, you'll have a chance at getting the chest piece that we need, that we can put the long strider effect on. So first run, I got super lucky and I actually got my chest piece, which is perfect. So you want to go ahead, equip the chest piece, and you want to go ahead and put the powers into it. Now with the chest piece, for the very first piece, well, the very first effect, it doesn't matter whatsoever. You can go any of them. For the second one, you need to make sure that you go long strider, because this is the main reason why we're using this armor in the first place. So definitely make sure that you pick up long strider for the second effect. Now moving on to the next piece, and this is going to be the shoulders from Freehold. So you want to go ahead, you want to run this on normal also. You basically, in this one, you can actually skip all of the bosses and run straight to the very last boss and just kill the last boss. And this last boss will have a chance at dropping you your shoulders. On the first run, we did not get it. Second, we did not get it. Third, we actually got it. Very nice. So this one is a little bit important what you actually pick for the effects. And I'm talking about the first effect too. You want to go with, I think it's called Fury Tiger, Jungle Tiger. You want to go ahead and pick that because that will give you crit when you use Tiger's Fury, and you want to go with Long Strider effect. Okay, so moving on to the next one. This is going to be the headpiece, and it's going to be from Tol Gora. And basically, all you want to do is run this dungeon. You have to kill all the bosses on the way, but then once you get to the last boss, you'll have a chance at getting the headpiece. Now you have to kill the first boss to unlock like the gates. You have to kill pretty much all of the bosses to like unlock the gates behind them to get to the very last boss. So you can't really just run through the whole thing and skip all the bosses. You do want to skip all of the mobs though, because they're just a waste of time killing. You just want to kill the bosses that you have to, so they unlock the gates behind them. And this way you can work your way up the top of this building, and at the very top of the building is going to be the boss, the final boss that you can kill, and you have a chance at getting the headpiece from. I got very lucky on Horde, and I think I actually get it on the very first kill on Horde, which is very, very nice. So we're after the helmet, which is the flashpowder hood. So you can go ahead, you can equip that, and you can put the powers into that. Now the first power, it doesn't matter whatsoever. Just the second power is very important, which is going to be that Long Strider effect. So you want to make sure with the first one, you can just pick whatever. It really does not matter. And then for the second one, you definitely need to make sure that you're picking up the Long Strider effect. And that is how you get your neck, shoulders, head, and chest for the Azerite pieces with the Heart of Azerite for Horde. Now I'm going to show you some methods of how to actually get the War Within BOEs that have plus speed on them. So they're obviously all brought from the auction house. There's a few different methods that you can use to find these. First of all is going to be the basic method, where you're just going to go on the auction house, you're going to select leather, and then you're going to start going through the items and finding ones with plus speed on them. Now this is the most time consuming way, but we'll go ahead and I will find this one right here. Just keep going through them. So this is the basic way how to do it, and how most people just do it, by going through all of the different items until you find one with plus speed on them. There are a lot of people flipping the ones with plus speed, so a lot of the times you're going to find them, but they're going to be way overpriced compared to the other pieces. So for an example, we found one right here with crit and plus speed for 12,000 gold. Now the holy grail would be to have this, but also to have a socket on it, and this would be the best possible version of the BOEs that you can get. So that's the first method, and what you'd want to do is you would want to have characters on multiple different realms, and you would want to go through realm to realm, checking each realm until you have your full set. The next method that I like using is going to be using TSM groups that have the plus speed items in them. So in my flipping guide, which can be found on goldcab.com, you can actually get my imported TSM string, and you can go ahead and you can select just the Druid set, and this will scan through all of the Druid plus speed items that are on your specific realm, and you can go ahead, and this is the quickest way to find them. So we can go ahead and we can look through here and see all of these are for Druids, and they all have plus speed on them. Now obviously they range from different item levels. The highest item level is 603, the next lowest is 600, then the lowest is 597 for season 2 of the War Within. Now obviously you can get any different item level, it doesn't matter, because what you can do is you can just upgrade it with Valor Stones. So for an example, we have a one-handed dagger right here, and you can see it's only 92 gold. So this is a great way to find them cheap. So I'd buy the cheap ones, then I'd go to the next round and I'd do the same TSM search. So this is a really good way to do it, but obviously you have to have the groups for TSM to do this quick scan. Now the best possible method to actually go ahead and fight the War Within BOEs would be using Flipping Power. Now this is a paid tool, it is $5 per month, but I use this for flipping anyways. So you want to select War Within for the expansion. You want to change filter by max buyout price to around 5,000 gold. So any of the items that are under 5,000 gold, it will show us. And then you want to select this column right here, extra stat, and it will show all of the the items that meet these filters that have plus speed on them. And this way you can pick them up for as cheap as possible. The ones at the top are going to be item level 603, which, as you know, we can actually get any of the different item levels from the current season we're in. So their lower item levels will be a bit cheaper. But if we scroll down, we can see all of the prices and which realm to buy them off. So like there's a real cheap one here, which is only 555 gold. And this is actually item level 603. But if we want to have the cheapest possible deals, for example, if we just go down to item level 600 now, as you can see, they're under 200 gold each, and these all have plus speed on them, and they can all be used. They're all leather, so they can all be used in your plus speed set. So this is the cheapest possible way to go ahead and pick up the War Within plus speed BOEs. So that was it for the full guide. Hopefully you can make the best possible speed set and be quick as. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel for more gold making content. I make videos every single day about making gold in World of Warcraft. And if you want to go ahead and learn even better ways to make gold in all versions of World of Warcraft, you can go ahead and you can check out GoldCap. It'll be linked down below in the description box. GoldCap is a community project where all of the best gold makers are making guides of the latest and best methods for everyone that is a GoldCap member. I'll have that link down below in the description box. And if you want to save 10%, use code Buffy10 to get 10% off your order. Till next one, guys, take care.